Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and a warm welcome to the UK on USA Global TV and Radio. My name is Dr. Madeline Chan. And we're going to be with the Film and Music Show on USA Global TV and Radio. So hello to our viewers on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok and Twitter, X, and Facebook, of course. So for today's guest, we have a very exciting guest, actually. She is a power force in the business world in the way that she's known as a serial entrepreneur and a global super connector. The reason why she's a super connector is because she has, which I will say, her name is Victoria Beale. She founded Business Live Limited. She has arranged and designed 3,000 high-profile events, which then attracted a lot of global decision makers as well. She has a beautiful heart. She understands as well as understands, but she never overstands. She is absolutely amazing. She has brought quite a few of our guests. She's been influencing them to come onto the show for the Film and Music Show. And finally, she agreed to come on board the Film and Music Show to be interviewed herself. The Film and Music Show welcome the lovely Victoria Beale.
Oh, hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone all over the world. And Dr. Madeline, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Victoria. We've been asking you for a long time, and I know you've been very, very busy with everything. So we're just so fortunate that you now are on the Film and Music Show. So, Victoria, for those our viewers that don't know of your work, could you, in a short summarization, share what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I've created and promoted over 3,000 events, corporate, real estate and health and wellness events. I have done that since 2009, actually. I've also been building business communities since 2009 from the ground up, before Facebook or LinkedIn or social media, for that matter, was really, really something. Back in the olden days when you had to make phone calls and contact people through directories or from the internet. So, I'm lucky enough to be that old where I remember doing stuff like that, even before websites existed. Yes, I am that old. And so having, the luxury of what we have today, websites, now we have AI and everything. I mean, it's amazing how the world has changed. But, it's fortunate for me because I've had to develop alongside that technology kind of surge, if you like. So I create elite events personally for my company, Elite Crowd Makers. And we've set up our first crowd, which is our first community called the Business Growth Crowd. And that's for high growth entrepreneurs who have global dreams, who want to rapidly accelerate their global growth. And so by joining us and meeting all the people that I've built in my communities over the last 16 years, it means that they don't have to do all that hard work because it's already been done for them. So 5 main pillars are media, so that they can tell their story on Netflix or Prime if they want to go to those lengths. We know the right people. We have some amazing media people around us. Then mentors, of course, people who know exactly what they're doing. They've scaled companies globally, so we can learn from the best. Matchmaking, of course, which is a big part of what we do, is connecting people and making sure they know the right potential clients, suppliers or partners. And then motivation. It's really important to get in a group of people who are collaborative mindset. They share the same vision and the same values. That's really important to us. So it is by invitation only, the business growth crowd. But by doing it that way, we'll make sure we get the right people in the crowd. And our particular interest really, and I think most people at some point in their business journey, they're going to need money and funds. So we've got access to funds, fund managers, family offices, VCs, investors who may want to invest in the companies that join our membership. So it's a very unique combination.
Thank you for sharing that, Victoria. So before we go any further talking about elite crowd makers and also business growth crowd, can we first hop onto a time machine, and we're going to take you right back.
It's a long time.
A long time. All right. To the point where you knew this was your calling. Yeah.
I mean, this is just, yeah. I think I may have relayed to this story earlier when we spoke, but I'll tell the rest of you guys listening. So when I was 5, so literally as soon as I can remember walking and talking, right? I mean, I was probably walking and talking before the age of 5, but my earliest memory was in my back garden. We had a shed which we cleared out, and one day I decided I was going to set up a club. So I took myself down to WH Smith's and bought these stickers, and the stickers were fruit, you know, bananas, pineapples, strawberries, just one sheet. That cost me £1, so $1.50. And I then decided to sell each sticker. There was 50 on the sheet for $1. So I realized there was money to be made in this industry. But it wasn't really about that. It was about bringing people together. So I got all my friends together and we would meet at weekends. I'd have a register because back in the old days, I'm not sure if they still do have these registers with the lines, you know, like diagonal lines up and down. But we all wanted to be teachers back then. So it was trying to be a teacher, be a connector and everything. And I always had a knack for connecting people. People would come to my school who'd be from different countries. They couldn't speak a word of English. And the teacher always sent the children to me to sort of be their friend and integrate them and teach them English and stuff as well. So I think it's just, you know, it's I've got a good mix of Irish and Sicilian in my blood, you know, naturally outgoing people. And, you know, I just want to help people. That's kind of like my motivation. And it hasn't really changed.
So having the fact that at 5 years old, you had this gift of a young entrepreneur, in the way that they would say a genius of entrepreneurship at 5 years old. So from 5 years old, where did you take your education?
Well,
not from 5 years, I mean later on in years. Where did you have your education? What did you have to study?
Well, I did my GCSEs, my O-levels, didn't revise for them. To be honest with you, Madeline, I wasn't interested in school really. I wasn't very academic, but I still passed all my exams. 5 C's and 4 D's, wasn't too bad, I suppose. But no way was I an A grade student. I'm sure if I applied myself, I would have been. But no, I was always looking out the window, daydreaming, writing stuff down. I never really paid attention in class. I was one of those children, and I would talk a lot as well. particularly as I got older and older, couldn't shut me up. So yeah, so the school thing really didn't work for me. But then I did study theatre studies, A level. I did used to get a lot of, when I did acting and stuff on the stage at school and productions, I did get standing ovations. I did get write-ups in the paper, and that was an area I wanted to pursue. I was also doing a lot of solo singing and solos in church when I was younger as well, and I played the violin and various other musical instruments from the age of 6 to 16. So I can read music, I can write music. So that creative arts side of me has always been there. And it kind of went dormant for a little while because I thought, well, not everyone gets into those areas. And I must admit, I had a lot of people sort of sway me away from either being a singer or an artist in some respect. They kept trying to put me on the straight and narrow and a proper career as such, or vocation. And I went down the business route. I then took a sabbatical actually for a couple of years, and I retrained to be a hairdresser, a stylist. So I'm a qualified stylist as well. You probably can't tell from my hair at the moment because I did have hair extensions, and now I don't. But I'm again, it's a creative thing. Cooking, art, making things, doing things with my hands, expressing myself through the arts, all those things. I was always high achieving at school, and I was always interested in all of that stuff. I wasn't interested in maths. I wasn't interested in, bookkeeping or science. I mean, forget it. These things are just not for me. So that's why I'm very passionate about the arts. Now, fortunate position that I'm in now, where I've built a network, and we've just recently launched the Business Growth Crowd. We're now about to launch the Entertainment Crowd, which is really exciting because I've figured out a way we can actually unify the business community with the show business world. Show business. It's show business for a reason. Yes, you've got the show, but the most important part of show business is the business part, really. If you think about it, Madeline, if you don't have the right management or you don't have the right team around you, you can literally fail. Doesn't matter how impressive you are on camera or how talented you are. There's lots of really talented people now who are kind of burnt out, and they're in the public eye. So what we want to do with the Entertainment Crowd is we want to give our members, so these could be actors, these could be film producers, filmmakers, musicians, animators, whatever. We want to give them the chance at very low cost to come into a community where they're looked after. We can give them the right accountants, lawyers, whatever they need, mentors, but also most importantly, there's access to funds. Now, there's nothing else in the world that exists of this nature. And I know that because we've researched it before we've launched it. So that's the really exciting point about being on your show today, is to talk about that. And obviously you're very much at the top table, and I'm so excited to have you involved as a global ambassador. So this is where the early school days of arts and loving the arts has come from, and now trying to unify that with my business experience.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, Victoria, with the entertainment industry as it is, what is the benefits, as well as about investment and everything? What else is missing in the entertainment industry of professionals and non-professionals that you can bring through your platform of Elite Crowd Makers, Business Growth, the Business Growth Crowd?
Yeah. So we mentioned funding. So you're a movie maker. You want to raise some funds for a movie. We've got access to that. You need the right cast, screenwriters, crew. We've got access to those people, partners. One thing that I think is missing that we're able to fulfill, and I might be wrong in saying this, I don't want to, alienate others, but the health and wellness of all of our members amongst all the crowds is of paramount importance to us. If you're not healthy, then you can never be wealthy, right? And health having a circle of people around you who understand the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is hard enough, but being an entrepreneur in the public eye, i.e. the entertainment world, is 10 times harder, because you're putting yourself out there to be, you know, you're putting yourself out there to be either torn down or revered, one or the other, like all the time, and you've got a business to run at the end of the day, you know, so it's double hard. And I think having this health and wellness, you know, the best psychiatrists in the world, the best plant medicine doctors in the world, you know, I'm surrounded by all these great people, therapists, life coaches, you name it. They're all part of the entertainment crowd, in fact, all the crowds. So it's a really important element to what we're doing, is to make sure we're protecting our members, giving them all the tools they need to do the job and do it well to the best of their ability, but make sure their inner peace and their inner health is really taken care of.
Thank you. Yes, inner health is really important, especially in the entertainment industry. Yeah. It's almost, do you believe, Victoria, that the way of being a super connector, global super connector, is about bringing high kudos corporate companies, or about building the communities with the people that are not corporates, that are more, that have their own small businesses?
Well,
so,
yeah, I can answer that.
Which one?
Right. So there's two groups of people you mentioned there. They've got different needs. Okay. So you've got a group of people, let's call them directors, C-suite directors. They've got a lot of pressure on their shoulders, right? Even though they might be backed by this huge organization, this blue chip. Trust me, they're not all happy bunnies. Okay. So they need support in their personal development, their personal well-being. That could manifest itself in going on retreats, which are fully focused on them. So, you know, leave the mobile phones at the door. You can't access any Wi-Fi. Eat really healthily for 3 or 4 days. Have some really good, you know, sound healing and all of that. So you've got that kind of avatar, if you like, that kind of person who needs that. And then you've got the people you mentioned at the other end who are starting out. Maybe they don't have a lot of money. They don't have any following. They need real hands-on support. They're generally speaking, and I hate to be generalist in saying this, but people who are hungry, have got something to do, generally speaking, are happier, right? Because they're aiming for something. Whereas these people over here who've made it and who've got, they may have made it, but they've taken a lot of other problems on their shoulders. So I don't want to sound too generalist, and please forgive me if I do, but we can basically help people at this end here and this end here and everything in between. From a crowd perspective, if we take the entertainment crowd as an example, the types of members that we're looking to join, and it's only going to be $50 a month. We're not talking lots of money here. But these people here, for that $50, they're going to get a massive leg up into the world of show business with contacts, of course, but they're also going to get that business support that they need and potentially funding as well. So it is a nice little offering there for very little money. And then all the way up to here, the big companies that you mentioned, they're sponsorship opportunities. They can sponsor our events. They can sponsor the online sessions that we do. This is a predominantly online network as well. We will have the odd in person, but it's more focused online than in person. And we do that so we can, you know, as we are now, and I know you've been to some of the events, you can meet 20 to 30 people and build relationships very quickly when it's facilitated correctly in 2 hours. It's possible. You don't have to leave your home or office. You know, how sustainable is that? And you can meet people globally. So it's teaching that community how to do that. I've been doing it for years. I've set up business partnerships with people who I've never met in real life. I've just met them online, you know, so it can be done. So yes, there's a price point to suit both groups, but they both have completely different needs. definitely.
So thank you for sharing those golden nuggets of wisdom in every way. So Victoria, for our viewers, let's say they're going in to the Business Growth Crowd platform. Can you explain what you do and what happens and what is to be expected?
Okay, well,
what they can expect. Sorry.
Fine. Yeah, thank you. So on our website, it's elitecrowdmakers.global. I think Dr. Jacalyn is locating it now. But basically, there's two memberships. There's standard and there's premium. So standard is £49 pounds per month, and premium is £99 per month. And there's our website there. It's basically, as soon as they sign up, they get straight into the community. So they come into a special community. Now we use a very well-known platform called Circle. If you're thinking about setting up a community, Circle is really easy to use. So you can download the app and then go straight into the community. And there you are. To load your profile, you just literally copy your LinkedIn. So it just takes whatever's on your LinkedIn, it drags it into Circle. Very quick and easy. Then obviously we do a shout out announcement, say you've joined us. The next thing I ask you to do is do a little selfie video and say, hi, I'm Madeline, I've joined the crowd. I do this one, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And then we promote that through the social media. We tag all of our members. Now, this is the important bit. Our membership is made up not just of people looking to scale, but also of major influencers. So people who have got sort of 100, 200, 300,000 followers on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We actually give influencers free membership if there's the right fit. The other group of people we have, who we also have partnership agreements with, are global community owners, founders. So if we've got a global community founder that's complementary what we're doing, and there's kind of no overlap, then we bring them in and we work together. Again, it's that vision and values thing I talked about earlier. Now, one of such partners is actually the world's largest business expo. I'm fortunate enough to know the founder or the owner, and we are partnered globally. They're called the Business Show. Now, they do a show in London, which is the 12th and 13th of November, coming up a couple of months from now. And 20 to 30,000 people minimum per day. It's a huge show in London. It's like the place to go to do business in November in London. So we're very much part of that, but they've now just opened up in Singapore, Australia, Miami and Vegas as well. So we will be traveling to those shows over the coming years. But it's an exciting partnership to have, obviously, because what they do is very different to what we do, very complementary. And that's just one partner. I mean, I could mention loads of others. But these are the groups of people we have in our network.
Which brings me to the next question, Victoria. In the way that the Business Growth Crowd, because global, when you say global, have you got it split into, like, say, America or Mexico, Asia? I don't know. Do you, for example, yeah, when you do the online meetings, how do you delegate it? How do you orchestrate it?
So we did just before August, before the summer, we did have 2 sessions running per month. One for the, like I say, one half of the world, because we're obviously in the middle, being in the UK, and one for the other half. So one for the States and South America, North America, Canada, and one for Australia, right? But that didn't really work. So what we've done now is just having one big event, and that's midday. So in the middle of the day, Greenwich Mean Time, which means that we can go all the way back to, let's say, Eastern, Central rather. Central time is 6 a.m. Now there's people that will wake up for this in the Central America, all the way up to China, which is on the other side. You can get you can cast a much bigger net if you set it at 12. So we're doing that for the first one, which is tomorrow, which you're speaking at, obviously. And then we're doing another one in October, another one in November, and another one in December. So we're going to be doing 4 sessions like that this year. Next year, I will introduce another session, which will cater for the West side, so Pacific time. We're definitely going to, when we do the launch of the entertainment crowd, which should be next month, we are obviously going to do that so we can be waking up with Hollywood, because obviously Hollywood, London, we need to make sure we're in those time zones. Yes, it's a very good question, because obviously it's quite a difficult thing to manage. But because I have contacts in all the continents, like of influence, we can get going quite quickly if we leverage those. So we're not like, oh, we've got 3 people in China and 1 person in Australia and 10 people in the States. No, to me, it's one world, it's one race. You know, everyone's welcome. The one thing that we all have in common is we're high growth entrepreneurs seeking to go global. And that's all I ask. I don't really mind where you're based in the world, as long as you've got good internet connection and you're able to participate. You know, categorically, you will meet 20 to 30 people and walk away with 20 or 30 relationships at the end of each session. That's an absolute given. And being a member, you get to speak at the sessions. If you're a non-member, you don't get to speak, you just get to attend and meet people. So you don't get the same visibility as the members. And the members' meetings happen every fortnight as well. So we really get to grips with what our members need and want at that particular time. The members start having one-to-ones. They start doing business with each other. And that's how a network and a community should operate.
So, Victoria, thank you for sharing that. So with your business growth crowd, what would your mission statement be that separates it from, it's not competition or anything, we're not saying this, just saying, what is your mission statement? Because of all the years you've experienced in business evolution, business marketing, business investments, putting on events, everything that you've brought through, what separates you from the rest? What makes the light shine more?
I would say this is the only community in the world where you have direct access to money, to mentors, to the media, both mainstream and digital media, motivation, and the obvious one, matchmaking. I call that the 5 pillars, but those 5 pillars is what we're built on. And I would be hard pressed to find other communities who have access to those 5 things at the drop of a hat or one phone call away. I know that there are networks that are very, very good, even more established than we are, who do amazing things. But I just think we're a little bit different. You know, the fact that we're not really fussed about doing in-person events. We like doing them, but we don't need to do them because we can easily access and still get the same outcomes, if not better, by hosting everything online. So we kind of just, I feel like we're filling a little bit of a gap that's still there in the networking world. And because I've been building networks since 2009, you know, I've learned the hard way how to do it properly and how not to do it. And I've made so many mistakes as a business owner. And part of the reason why we've set it up this way with my lovely business partner, Chris, and Nikki, his wife, who's also our head of marketing, is, you know, Chris is he's a serial entrepreneur. He's scaled multiple companies globally. He's an investor. Imagine him, he's the architect and I'm the builder, right? I have the bricks, but he's helping me put the bricks in the right place. Then we realized by that relationship alone, imagine how many other people we can help with the same kind of methodologies. So where I'm really good at lead generation, really good at filling events, creating events, Chris is very good at architecturing it so we make it commercial, you know, the right pricing, and we have everything as it should be online. And Nikki, obviously, without her marketing support and or the creative side, is invaluable. So we make a good team, but we've now created a network where we're going to help lots of people en masse achieve the same things and not make those mistakes that I've made. I don't want people to come in to business, into the entrepreneurial world and just, I've made that mistake, silly mistakes that could be avoided. I've made them all for you.
And there's too many people, isn't there, Victoria, that's in the business world that have fallen and that have even taken their own lives when all they needed was a community, someone to listen to, someone in the same field of that they could help them. And with that, Victoria, the fact that the business growth crowd supports this as well, with the mental and the well-being for this.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. It's fantastic. Also, want to bring into attention, $50 is hardly anything for any of these, especially for the entertainment crowd. The musicians that go out to pubs and anybody that's in the entertainment crowd, in the music and the film and music, their money is very limited, especially if they're not established. So at a mere price of $50, they're receiving a huge amount of wealth of information, and even to the point of advice for investments as well, if their product is investable.
Correct. Exactly. And we can help it. We can help package it so it becomes attractive to investors. So absolutely. It's a very small amount of money to have access to all these people in the business world, corporate world, the entertainment world. It's a small price to pay, I think. And if there are people out there who think, oh, well, $50 isn't attainable for me, but they're extremely talented, then just write to me. Let's have a chat. I like to try and help everyone, regardless of what, part of their journey they're on, what stage of the journey they're on. Because if they're really super talented, but it's money is the barrier, then, we can find ways around that, So it's always good to reach out and ask.
So with Victoria, with your team, with Chris and Nikki and yourself, do you do forecasts? So what is the forecast? Like, you got weather forecasts, right? So what's the forecast of elite crowd makers and the business growth?
Well, elite crowd makers,
business growth crowd.
Yeah, that's fine. So elite crowd makers is the holding company. Business growth crowd is the first crowd that we've set up, which launched a couple of months ago. The next one, as I said, is the entertainment crowd. The one after that is the property investment crowd, then the health and wellness crowd, then the humanitarian crowd, right? So by 2026, 27, we should have 6 crowds, fully functioning crowds. Each crowd will have access to funds, private investors, venture capitalists, you name it. We do have a sister company called Investment Matchmakers. And every time a new member joins us, we ask them, are you looking for funding? Most of the time they say yes. Are you post-revenue? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. Okay, so we it's almost like a filtration system, but we have got the supply chain in place, all the people we need around us to basically, if they're ready for investment, great. 98% of the time they're not investment ready, they think they are. If they're not ready, we get them ready, and then we move them to the funding stage. So we have all of that in place for people that are looking for money. And I think that is also one of the unique things about our ecosystem. And that's the future. I say a year from now, 18 months, we'll have 6 crowds up and running. I've given you the titles of the crowds already, so you know kind of what to expect. And we should have, I would expect, over 1,000 members, at least in the first 3 crowds that we launch. Maybe, a few hundred in the others. but that would be a nice position to be in, because the more members that join, the more we can help. And then we start to move into the second year or the third year of business. We will be creating our own fund. We'll ask members, do they want to basically contribute to a fund? And I'd like to get to the position where we have our own funds, which means that people who join us can actually apply for funding through us. But that's a couple of years away. But that's the roadmap. That's where we're heading.
Can we ask one more question? In the way that, do you have any form of lawyers or legalities, so that a lot of, especially the entertainment crowd, they get contracts from managers and, well, from shows. Contracts are always present every time of each project, all the time. So would the business growth crowd have a panel of lawyers that will be available, or one or two lawyers? This
is a really pertinent question. That's really good, because we're just about to sign with a fabulous lawyer, Chancery Lane. That's the High Court in London level. She's amazing. Her name's Sophie Newbold. Hello, Sophie, if you're watching. But Sophie will come on board in that capacity. And then our plan is to try and create this kind of, as you say, helpline or something or other, so the members can have access to legal support through a phone line or email or whatever. I know myself, you do not need a full-blown lawyer from day one. Okay. It'd be nice to have one, but that doesn't make sense. Okay. What you do need is you need the odd question. I've got this contract. I'm not sure about this paragraph. Can you just check it over for me? Stuff like that. We're thinking about having that we are going to. It's just a matter of putting it together. Because as you've rightly pointed out, so many people get tripped up, not just in the show business world, but in the business world. Again, one of those, imagine, all these mistakes, let's call them. That's one mistake we can easily avoid if we get the right people to mentor us and be with us. So this is definitely part of our plan as well.
It's a whole new world that you're creating, Victoria, in the business evolution. You're Chris and Nikki as well. So, Victoria, I just want to go on a more personal, just before, what kind of people, what kind of persons would you like to reach out to you for the business growth crowd or the elite crowd makers? Well, actually, it's the same, isn't it, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so Elite Crowd Makers is a holding company, and then the crowds are all sort of, I suppose, sister businesses in their own right. The types of people are, so people who can join the crowd, the ideal person to join the crowd is a high growth entrepreneur with global dreams. Okay, they want to scale their business. They might be, like me, a mother, without a partner, who wants to, better their lives, better their career prospects. So they join the crowd, okay? Because we can help them. It might be someone who's been in business for a couple of years. They might have a small team, 4 or 5 people based in the UK, but they want to go global. So these are the types of people who are just needing a leg up and helping hand. Then as we go up to sponsor level, so we do have sponsorship packages. So this would be more blue chip organizations, more established businesses who are potentially already global, or they might just be in the UK wanting to expand globally in the other countries. Again, by sponsoring the online sessions, by sponsoring the crowd, they get to have that exposure very quickly. And in most cases, those bigger organizations, particularly the B2B, are trying to sell to the typical members that we have. right? So we will have the clients they're looking to sell to, right?
Fantastic. Victoria, unfortunately, we're coming to a close. We've got 10 seconds, literally. So please do come back. Victoria, you've been an amazing guest. Come back for part 2. And we'll see you in Sivka in Greece next week.
I will. Can't wait to see you.
For another episode of Film and Music Show. Right. So see you next time, Victoria. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. There you have it. An amazing woman, a serial entrepreneur, a global super connector. Victoria Beale is the woman that you should reach out to if you want to have your business to evolve to the next stage. Fabulous. Okay, we have to come to a close. We are running out of time. My name is Dr. Madeline Chan. Thank you for the Film and Music Show, USA Global TV and Radio, and our sponsor, Audi K Barrier, for the Film and Music Show. And we'll see you next Monday, 22nd, in Greece. Woohoo! In Athens for a special episode of the Film and Music Show on the Sivka Festival. Bye.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.